Hey YouTube, it's Lisa. Welcome back to my channel. It is July. Wow, we are halfway through 2023 and it's moving at a very quick pace. I'm going to do a July currently inked, which I'm going to continue my pens mostly I have a lot of pens from June that I'm still inked up, so I'm not going to probably do anything new, but I do have a couple of new additions that I did add along the way in June. So my pen collection kind of grew because I found myself wanting to either revisit a couple of pens or get some smaller purchases of fountain pens. So I also want to do a little bit of housekeeping, show what I currently still have available for sale that will be up on my Instagram, and talk about the June ink giveaway. So let's get into it. I'm going to put this to the side. I will do that one last. Let me start with what I still have available in my current inventory of fountain pens for sale. The pens are still up on YouTube, on Instagram, but I'm going to kind of flash through these again because I don't know if everyone was able to see previous videos already. My desk, or I should say my dining room table's a mess with stuff all over it concerning fountain pens, but let's get into it. I have this Opus 88 Colero that I'm going to be putting up for sale. It is a vacuum filler. It has a very large ink capacity. I think I have a, just get this in so it's going in focus. I have a stub nib on this one, so if anybody's looking for a broad wet writer, there's that one. And you basically just take this off of here, and then you just put the plunger down and put the ink into here. Like I said, really large ink capacity, so this is great for really long writing sessions or if you're traveling. And because it is a vacuum fill with the plunger, you can really kind of close that off for airplane travel. That's one Opus 88. I also have a mini version as well from Endless Pens that I've got. This is also going to be on sale. This one has a smaller nib size. These are really cute pens. They are made for smaller hands, so you have to be a person that likes to have small fountain pens. This is in a fine. It's kind of girthy. The step down here is not going to be advantageous. I mean, it is advantageous for you to write. It's not going to hopefully impinge on your grip section. Looks like I've got a little bit of dry skin there on my hand. Sorry about that. Not a good hand model today. I've got a couple of Kawecos on sale. I'm going to let go of the Student Demonstrator in clear. Nothing's wrong with this pen. I just don't find myself leaning towards it. I've got a couple of other Kawecos that I absolutely adore, but this is not one, and I have a lot of them. So I've got this one, and with the converter in that as well. I've got the smaller classic version of the Kaweco with the number, I think this is a number 5 nib as well. And this one is available to be able to be swapped out, whereas the larger version, I don't think you can swap the nibs out as much. So that's this one. And that one is in a medium nib, it looks like. Yeah. So that one is in the medium nib. So there's that. But if you like girthier nib sections, that's not going to probably be a pen for you. I've got this vintage, this is a Diplomat pen with the oblique nib on it. I'm also getting rid of this pen. Prices, like I said, will be available on Instagram. I've updated that. This is a 14 karat gold original platinum nib. So before they switched over because of the shortages with gold, this is a extra fine platinum with the old-fashioned styled of that. That's the 3776. This is in an extra fine. I also have the Platinum Nice in rose gold finish. I will be selling as well. I don't like this body. It does have a texture on it, and I like the seal cap, you know, the sip and seal placement that they have in platinums, but I'm just not liking this body. So just know that this does have a texture to it. I've got this Monteverde Innovo. This pen writes fine, but I'm, again, not reaching for it. It has the OmniFlex nib for Monteverde. So there you see the flex on it. I did like it because it was a rose gold finishes on it. It writes fine. Again, just not kind of leaning towards it. I've got my Conklin, oops, that popped out, and this has a stub nib in it as well. This is the Empire, and these are both cartridge converters. This one has a kind of magnetic clasp closing mechanism. This is actually a really nice pen. I got it in my early days of fountain pen collecting, and I'm just not kind of gravitating towards it. My Y Studio, this is a brass pen, and this was one of their original releases back in the day, and this one is a pull-apart pen. It's a lovely writer, but I wanted the portable, so I ordered this thinking that I was getting the portable edition, and I didn't, but you will get my initials engraved on it. If nobody buys the pen, I'll keep it. I have no problem with it. It is actually a really good writer. Okay, moving on, I've got a couple of Twisbees, so we'll just knock those out of the way. We've got the Twisbee Iris in extra fine. Again, this pen drives me nuts. If it doesn't drive you nuts and you're looking for it, let me know. It's a little bit too extra fine for me, and I'm surprised that I say that because I absolutely love extra fine pens, but I find the nib on this one to be a little bit tricky, truth be told, for me. So that's one of my Twisbees. And then I've got this Twisbee, and this is just condensation. I need to let this pen dry out because I've already cleaned it. Is a rose gold mini in a stub nib. The stub nib drives me nuts. And I usually love Twisbee stub nibs, but in this case, it's just driving me a little batty, so I'm getting rid of it. And I wish I would have gotten the nib in actually a fine. And I can get replacement nibs, I know, but I want my nibs to match the finishes, which is rose gold. So when they do the rose gold or the special nib units, they don't have extras for sale or spares to sell in that original nib type. So the Iris, any of the rose gold nibs, you've got to get them in the size that you really want. This is a Pilot Explorer. This is a very good pen for long writing sessions. It has a very large capacity. When you get you have a couple of converters that you can get, so this one's going to come without the converter so that you can determine what you want. You can get a Con 40, you can do the Con 70, it takes both, or you can do cartridges. So just know that, and you probably could get some silicone grease. Nah, you probably can't. I was going to say you might be able to eyedropper it, but I'm not sure if you can eyedropper this one, but it does have a large ink capacity depending on what cartridge you decide to, converter you decide to put in it and what cartridge you're going to use. This is my original Pilot Metropolitan. I hated this pen. I don't gravitate towards this pen. I did put a stub nib on it. It came in a extra fine, which I found that nib to be scratchy, but I actually think I have that nib. So if you're interested in getting both of the nibs for it, let me know in the comments or send me a link on my Instagram feed. This is an inexpensive pen that I got from Amazon that I thought that I would be able to use for drawing. It has a Fude nib on it with the bent there. I did not find this pen to be pleasurable for me. For the Fude, and again, if it doesn't go, I'll probably either donate it or just chuck it. These two pens I'm not going to review. They're supposed to be rollerball fountain pens rollerball pens that could take fountain pen ink. I found that they did not take the fountain pen inks that I wanted, but I was trying to use shimmer and sheening inks. I think they work fine with like a Pilot Irizuku ink, but I just didn't find myself leaning or gravitating towards that pen. I know that's not really a favorable sales pitch. They were very inexpensive, so if they don't move off of my site, I totally understand. This pen, however, is a fantastic writer. This is the Faber-Castell. This is the Emotion pen. This is a fantastic writer. It has some heft to it, but it's a fantastic writer. The step here is noticeable, but it still is like comfortable in hand, and it's kind of girthy, and it is a fantastic writing experience, but I'm not reaching for it. And last but not least is the Waterman pen. I do have the spare. I have another nib for this one as well. I don't find myself reaching for this one either. It writes a little bit too wet and juicy for me. I just don't like my pens to be gushers, and these nibs are kind of gushing for me, so that's why I'm getting rid of it. Okay, so that is the housekeeping on fountain pens that I'm trying to sell. If anybody's interested, DM me on my Instagram account. I will put the links below. And without further ado, let's go into the June ink sample giveaway. I received 2 messages, and the one message that I received for it was from Charisse English, your winner, so I'll send you yours. Somebody else DM'd me though, and I cannot find your message. So if you are one of those subscribers, and thank you guys for subscribing and sticking through these videos, please DM me again. I've got a slot for one other person. If you're interested in getting an ink sample, let me know, and DM me again in my Instagram account and send me your information, like send me your full name, address, etc., and I will just pick the next person, the next person that I get, because one person already DM'd me. If you already DM'd me though, let me know you're the person that already DM'd. And then I've got room for one more, so I'm going to do 3 ink sample giveaways like I did last month, and I will probably do it again in August. Although in August I've got a lot of travel on my slate, so it'll probably happen towards the beginning part of September. So just stay tuned for that. And without further ado, I'm going to go into a small buy that I got from Yoseka that I've been holding on to. Grab more stuff off of my desk than I intended. So Yoseka, I just got a really small purchase from them, and then they announced something that I wish I would have caught before I made my purchase, because I really wanted it. And I'm gonna have to go back and get it, because I think they're the only people that are selling it. Okay, so you get a couple of Yoseka stickers, and I actually really like the colors. I think these are supposed to be ink swatches, and I'm not sure what ink this is, but it would be kind of cool if they told us what that ink color is, if it's from a ink swatch kind of thing. I had a unpackaging review before, and I lost Sailor Yoseka. I lost the ink because the vial exploded in the mail, so this is a replacement of that ink from them. So thank you, Yoseka, for resending that. And I got the refill for a short trip for my passport, because in my previous video I was saying I'm going on a trip, and I'm going to take my passports with me. I did take my passport size with me to Florida, but for this next trip out of country, I don't really need a big passport size, and I think this is going to be a perfect size for that trip, because I just want to dedicate it for that entire trip. So I've got that from Yoseka, and I also bought one other item. I saw this ink before, and I don't know, I'm into greens right now, I guess. Greens and yellow, browns and yellows, it seems like. So I got this Sailor Yoseka ink, and I bought this color, which is Tsukikuro, or Gukuro. And I will swatch this one out as well and add it to my ink collection. Okay, let's do the swatch of this. And the Yamakiro inks from Sailor run $20 at Yoseka, which is a really decent price, and this is 20 milliliters of ink, so it's a nice small bottle. I feel like it's doable. And I'll also swatch out the little ink sample as well using my Wearing Gold swatch book here. And these inks change color. They're dual shading, so they'll lay down one way and then they'll come back through another. And I can already see the blue-green hints in here. I think this ink is really fascinating from Sailor. I'm just really happy that they did this. Let me just find something to rest this on. And you can see that the ink is already changing colors. I can just make sure the color is changing a lot. Shut the lid so I don't get that wrong. Oh yeah. So that color is not even quite dry, and it's, as you can see, it kind of laid down this blue and it's already changing its color a little bit there. All right, rinse this off. Oops, that did not come all the way off the nib. And let's do the little ink sample. And this is another one that is a Kaweco ink. And I've got little ink sample jars like this too as well, and I think it's absolutely brilliant. Okay, let me just go into the ink samples here. To find a empty spot. The film that they sealed this with is still sticking to my finger, so I'm doing this one-handed. As you can see, sticking to my thumb. There we go. Still stuck. I can't get it free. Okay. All right. Let's do this one. So one part of this book is dedicated to bottles, and the rest is ink samples, which I should have more. I'm sorry, I'm out of frame. Sorry, people. I should have way more samples than I do bottles. Okay. That looks almost identical to the one I feel like I just swatched, which is interesting because I didn't think It is. So I've got a sample of this. It is a sample as well as the same bottle. I didn't think I ordered, so maybe I did not get the replacement bottle like I thought. So I think I know exactly what I'm going to do with this, because I don't need the sample and the bottle if I've got the sample. So with that being said, we're going to just say this is Suki Gokoro. So what I'm going to do, since they gave me as the replacement, and like I said, because I lost my bottle, I am having a hard time, since I'm noticing on Yosaka's website, when you have orders in with them, you can't see your order history under a profile. I'm going to just assume that whatever I ordered from my sample is lost, which is okay. I'm okay with that. But what I am going to do is I'm going to give that color away as part of the July giveaway box. So let's move on to step 3 of this process, since I inked those up, and I just used this farewell trade bottle for my ink, so you can tell the blue properties that are underlying this green ink. Pretty color, and it does definitely change, and it's kind of like a brown green. It's almost like looking at the ocean at times, like when you have a lot of kelp or seaweed. It's kind of like a seaweed kind of greenish blue with a little bit of brown in it. So we're going to go ahead and move that to the side. I'll close my sample book, and let's go into currently inked and then kind of wrap it up. So for the month of July, like I said, I still have a lot of pens inked up that are still in play from June. So I'm going to just kind of run through these in no particular order, but I will talk about pens that I still have even from May. I'm still writing with this Heinz Dromagul's exclusive pen and the Serene Amethyst. Absolutely love this pen. The ink is still the same. I'm going to just let it run dry. So let me just put that in here. And I'm sorry for the camera shake, but I'm kind of wishing I did smaller half circles even, because this is a very good size half circle off of the template that I used. This might be one way to get rid of some ink, that's for sure. So this is the Dromagul's Heinz. This is in a extra fine. This is Serene Amethyst, and this ink is Diamine Purple Dream. Beautiful, deep, rich purple color. So that one is still going strong. Next up, I have my Sailor Dianthus from last year's release, and it still has in it the Inkabera Pale Violet is what I do believe I've got into this pen. It's a nice, softer purple. So this is the Sailor. Oops, sorry, Dianthus. Sailor, I like medium nibs. So this is Inkabera Pale Violet. And it's almost dry, so it's going to run dry, and then I'll probably have to do a mid-month update as well as some of these pens run out. So those are my two purples. And then I also am still writing with my Leonardo Momento Zero. And thank you viewers and subscribers who let me know where I could get this ink color. It is almost black. It's such a deep kind of purplish berry color, and I absolutely love this ink color. I just like it a lot. So this is the Leonardo Momento Zero, and it's plungular plum. I'm going to just do pea plum, and this one is in an extra fine as well. And I have for ink D Atramentis, and it's D-E, not D-I, Mentis, and it's Johann Sebastian Bach. And I'll hold them up, like I said, at the end when it's a little bit, so you guys can see them close up. I'm still writing with my Kaweco Royalty Elite. And this one. I've been very fortunate with Kaweco nibs. I think they've either gotten better with their nibs, because their nibs used to be kind of inconsistent. They definitely, I think, have done a better job with their nibs. So this is the Kaweco Royalty Elite, and I do believe this is in a medium nib, and this is the red, and my ink is Diamine Red Dragon. This ink color looks good, both not only on pure white paper, but it looks great on like my Midori A6 EDC. Let me see if I can find an example of it in the cream colored paper. Let's just see if I've got it, if I've written in it in the month of June. I don't think I have, but I can swatch it out so that you can see what I will do. Okay, I'll just do something that I've been playing around with my EDC page. So let me just do this really quick on the side, and I'll show you something really quick. I've been playing with a layout. Let me just zoom back out in my Midori A6, and I've actually been liking this because I've been looking at mid-year planner review type videos, and I noticed that, you know, you get bored with your planners and such, and I'm not so much bored, but I am already starting to like spec out what I want to use in 2024. And I don't know if I mentioned this previously, but I got the Common Planner from Sterling Ink, undated, and so I've been kind of just playing around with hers, and I've decided, since heads up, she is going to she's got her pre-order in right now until July 9th, but I'm still really in love with this as my EDC throw around when I have space in a bag. I like this A6 size. It works perfectly for me. So I'm going to just write this down like this so you can see what this looks like. So that's what the Diamine Red Dragon looks like in like a Midori cream colored paper. And I like red inks anyhow. I like warm colors. Red is one of my favorite colors, so I'm really enjoying it. But red can sometimes scream at you, but you can definitely, usually it's very visible when you write with it. But I absolutely like this Diamine Red. My favorite one is Oxblood, but I absolutely do like that one. Okay, so moving on. This was not in my currently inked, I think, at the time that I filmed, but I decided to ink up somewhere in towards the mid to end of June my Diamine, my Pilot Vanishing Point in Carbonne Blue. I absolutely love this pen, and I was missing it because I started working with the Mahjong A4, and the writing experience is just not the same. Not horrible. Definitely a more affordable solution to kind of get to the vanishing point. I'm going to try to like still the camera shake here. But I just decided that I really hadn't had my hands on this pen in quite some time, and I really, really wanted my hands on the pen. So this is the Pilot Vanishing Point. And I think my nib is in a extra fine, and this is actually very smooth writer for extra fine. Mine is in the blue Carbonne, and my ink is Pelikan, and I'm going to zoom in. Blue Topaz. Oh, it's Edelstein. Sorry, Edelstein. And I've been writing with this pen for a couple of weeks, and I forgot how much I actually like the combination of the two. So that one's going pretty good. And then I have my Twisbee Eagle. Okay, let me just hold this because I just don't want this camera to keep shaking. Okay, so this is the Twisbee Eagle, and I say it's black demo, and this has a medium nib, and my ink is Jacques Carbonne, Vert Atlantide. Very smooth writer. Have been enjoying the ink and the pen. And now we're going to get into what I would consider my yellow kind of brown colored shades. So I'm still writing with, and I'm almost done, as you might, let's see if you can tell by looking at this, but I'm still writing. I still have a little bit of, and I do mean a little bit, this is going to run dry any day now. I do have in this Pelikan White Tortoise, still writing with Diamine Sepia in this one. Beautiful combination, beautiful pen, fantastic writer. Pelikan M400. I'll just do White Tortoise like this in abbreviations. This is in a fine nib. The ink is Diamine Sepia. Then I decided to pull out towards the end of June because I bought a sample or a bottle of another Jacques Carbonne ink. Sorry about that. And I absolutely love this color. I was playing around in Ginny Bic, and I decided to go ahead and pull the trigger on this wonderful kind of goldeny color. And I don't know, like 2 years ago I kind of hated these colors, and I'm really enjoying them now. I've got this in my Kaweco Bronze, And this is in a broad nib. Yes, I said broad nib. And this is Jacques Carbonne. And this is Amber, I do believe, de Baltique. So this is, even though we're in summer, I feel like this palette is it's very warm, that's for sure, except for my very turquoisey edition that I have. And then I've got 2 more pens left. And I think I may have mentioned this in June, maybe last week, maybe the week before, but I went ahead and I purchased the very inexpensive Mahjong 82 fountain pens. And I absolutely love them. They write so incredibly smooth. They are Sailor Pro Gear knockoffs, but again, when you're traveling, great pens to have. They seem to be in abundance. I even like the sparkle that they put into this one. They're vintage X kind of pens, and I'll kind of get into it. So I think when I talked in June, I had bought, and I only had at the time, this is the vintage coffee fluorescent, and I had it in a, I think, fine nib or a medium nib. Let me see here. Let me review this one. Let me just look at this really quick. Oh, I got this in the extra fine, and I was saying it's fine as extra fine. It actually writes really well, and it is very similar to what I would call a sailor type experience. But I didn't want the fineness or the extra fineness of this pen. So this pen, for one lucky winner in July, will also get this pen matched up with this in their kit. So one of you 3 will get that as a giveaway. And so I went ahead and ordered this in the fine. So let's do this one first. And then I also got it in, well, let me tell you what happened here, because it's switched. I actually ordered this one to be with the Fude nib, and then when I got it, I put it into this pen. So this one might have a duplicate ink in it. I'm going to just scratch it out because I want to use this for drawing. So that's why if you see the color is similar, you'll understand, as you can see, as this nicely fills in the method to the madness of a Fude nib. And so I do believe that this Sailor 82 has the same ink as the previous pen that I just wrote, which is, okay, so this is a Mahjong, I hope I spelled that, I might have flipped the H and the J, sorry. But this is an 82 vintage coffee fluorescent. I hope I spelled that wrong. I mean right. And I do believe, just look really quick. I don't know what this ink is. Actually, it is not the Bolt Atlantic Tide, I don't think. Hold on just a second. Let me just check something really quick. Because I think when I swatched it or I decided to ink it, I stuck it in my my other journal. So hold on just a second. Let me just see really quick. I think I put it in my onion skin. And, let's see here. Okay. What I put in this pen is 3 oysters, sorry. I did caramel macchiato. Right? Yeah. Macchiato. A-O. So that's what I have in this one. And then in this one, since I switched my nibs around unnecessarily, this one has Ah, yes, I remember what happened. So I also bought, I had an ink sample of this ink, and I decided to buy the bottle, and I pulled the trigger and got the bottle. So let me just kind of fill all of this in, because I really actually like this ink color a lot. And I'm kind of glad I didn't put it in a Fude nib pen. Again, this is, this is supposed to be Mahjong like this. 82, so I spelled it incorrectly on the other one. This is vintage. Cream, I think it is. And this one is in a fine nib. Fantastic writer. The ink is Diamine Celadon Cat. All right, so that is what I have currently inked. As you can tell with the addition of me pulling out the 82 and the vintage cream, the fluorescent coffee. I pulled in my Pilot Vanishing Point and Carbonne, which I didn't have currently inked at the start of June, and I think I added in my Kaweco bronze. Those were like the 4 additions, and I have no problem carrying these over into the month of July, but that is what I have currently inked, which is usually way more than I don't normally do 10 fountain pen inks, but I have got 10 fountain pens inked up, and I'm really, really happy with the color choice. So that is where I ended up landing on that, and let me show you in a side-by-side now what the colors look like for the month of July. I think it's a pretty good lineup. Let me know what you think in the thoughts below. But that is what I have currently inked. Let me just do this one once again. These are the reds into the purples and the greens, and the other warm browns. Thank you so much if you made it to the end for sticking with me. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments, please put them below and I will get to you as soon as possible. If you're a new subscriber, think about hitting that smash button if you like the content, and subscribing so that you know. And everyone, please have a safe and wonderful 4th of July if you're in the US. Bastille Day if you're in France. Everywhere else, I just wish you peace and joy for the rest of the year. Thanks so much for stopping by my channel, and take care until next time. Stay safe. Bye.